Hello and welcome to the Jam Spot podcast. My name is Phil.
And I'm Henry.
And today we have got Izzy T, and she is an independent artist doing alternative rock, pop, and we are going to be talking about things like living in London, travelling to LA to record, mental health. There's a lot to cover, so we're going to jump straight into it. All right, hello everyone. How are we?
Hello.
Good.
Today we've got Izzy T.
That's right.
Yeah, Izzy T, not Izzy Thomas. It's Izzy T.
It's Izzy T.
Izzy T.
Don't say my full name. Don't full name me.
Do you feel like you're at school? You feel like Izzy Thomas?
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Taking the register.
Yeah, so you are a guest on our podcast, so welcome.
Thank you.
Hello. Cheers. We've got
Yeah,
some
we'd
gin,
like to
put it
the
on.
gin history
Cheers.
today. So cheers. It's lovely to actually meet you as well. We haven't met, have we? So
No, we haven't
This is
actually. It's
this is a thing.
This is the
We'll
thing.
try and negotiate this mic and have a little sip.
quite different to drink at this time in the morning, but not against it.
It's 5 o'clock
See what
Sunday.
happens.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah.
We're not against it.
So today again we're at the gin history in Oxted, not the Epsom one. And they've been very kind enough to lend us this space. So shout out to Andrew and to David for allowing that to happen, which is really good.
Yeah.
They've also given us some lovely gins here, which are bloody lovely. So
it's
that's
very
always
nice.
good.
Right, Izzy, I've written a few things down because I couldn't remember them all because you've done a lot.
It's a lot.
And I'm not really sure when you have time to sleep because you do a lot. So I'm going to go through the things I've listed. So you are a British Iranian
Yeah.
descent, and your music is alternative pop rock.
Yeah.
Is that kind of right? From Hull.
Yes.
Yeah. Big up the north of England. And you've played some great music venues in your career. So some of them include the Barclaycard Arena, Birmingham.
Yeah.
And is that where you supported Placebo?
Yeah. So it was Placebo. I played on like a smaller acoustic stage right before they came on, and then the same thing for Bryan Adams. It's really random.
Wow.
Like
Seriously.
Bryan Adams
Wow.
and then Placebo.
That's epic.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Placebo. is
serious,
sick.
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that band.
And there's a few other places. You played the Hard Rock Cafe in London. You've played at Tootsie's in Nashville.
Yeah. And then just played like and then from there just like Viper Room LA. Where else?
Well, a couple
Yeah.
of other places of LA's Hotel Cafe.
Yeah, Hotel Cafe, that was really cool. And then El Cid LA. Yeah. Been like a mixture of London and LA this year. It's been nice.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, we'll get into that in a little while. You've also appeared in Billboard magazine. Is that right?
Yeah. That was for one of my singles. That was online. It was for like the first single that I released. I had PR for that one, and then she called me like, Izzy, I can't believe it, Billboard want to premiere the single, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that is amazing.
Because
That
it was
must
my
have been
first
mad, huh?
single.
Wow.
So yeah, I was very fortunate.
How did that
Yeah.
feel? That must have been like pretty epic.
Yeah, I went shopping and I just started telling random people, by the way, I'm in Billboard.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'd have told everyone.
That's amazing.
I actually started doing that around Camden, but I was just because I'd never had press that big before. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's great. Yeah.
That's incredible.
You were on BBC Introducing, and you also had a track picked for Radio 1's Track of the Week, which was I Feel Everything.
Yeah.
Again, fantastic. On Kerrang Radio, you've been on Kerrang Radio.
Yeah, I got a track of the week for that as well. Alex
Awesome.
Holcomb, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's right in your corner.
Yeah.
You played on the main stage at Pride Festival as well,
Leeds Pride.
and you also had a track in a film called God Save the Queen. Do you know that?
Yeah.
By Nick Donnelly.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But it was about women in music and like showcasing the dark side of the industry as well as the bright. And yeah, it was quite a dark song, so it was a good fit.
Right. I mean, that's probably just the tip of the iceberg with a lot of the stuff you've done. I mean, how does that sort of feel when you look back at all the things you've achieved and done, How do you feel about that?
I mean, I was having this conversation with someone last night because whatever you achieve, this is the problem with those artists. Whatever you achieve, you always want more. And yeah, I was just saying to him, like, I'm not doing as much as I should be, but I'm always pushing myself, like my mind, my body, and like my career with things. And he was like, yeah, but look how much you've achieved already. All that stuff that you want is coming. Of course it is, like, because you work. And I do, like, I hardly sleep.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say it doesn't say
sleep is very important.
Yeah.
But no, I think we should celebrate our achievements a lot more, and I'm learning to do that because it's like life is, as cheesy as it sounds, it's about the journey, not the destination. And if you're always only thinking about the destination, then you're never going to be happy.
Yeah, I do
very
think
profound.
it's
I like
very
that.
profound. It's 12 o'clock
And I completely agree. It's 12 o'clock on
on a Tuesday
afternoon. Yeah.
So where did it sort of all start for you? When did you sort of make the choice that, right, music's going to be my thing?
It was always subconsciously my thing, you know. I was like a half British, half Iranian kid with like big frizzy hair and big eyebrows in school, and I wasn't, believe it or not, I wasn't really good at making conversation with new people. I was very, very shy. Had big glasses.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but like, you know, in school I had a look that is considered like cool and hipster now.
Right.
But back in school, people were like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
And I got bullied a lot. I hated school.
Yeah.
So I always turned to some kind of art for comfort. I actually originally wanted to be an artist. I sketched and painted quite a bit, and then Michael Jackson was my first musical inspiration. I was just crazy about him.
Wow. Okay.
And I think it's because when I saw Dirty Diana, he just had that perfect fusion of rock meets soul, and it wasn't just because I grew up on rock, you know. My dad got me into Queen and Lenny Kravitz and great artists like that, but I've always been into sounds that are a little bit more hybrid because that's what I am. And yeah, I got into Michael Jackson, but then it was Green Day that really inspired me to start singing and pick up the guitar. Started taking singing and guitar lessons. I still play guitar, but I excelled in singing more because my guitar teacher was a dick. Like,
Oh, really?
How old were you at this point?
15.
Yeah, about the same for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I used to shake before my guitar lessons.
Same, yeah.
He was, an interesting man.
Was he just a bit too pushy or just not very encouraging? Or
He used to, he was an old white guy, and he'd make jokes like, "Oh, you play like a girl."
Oh,
And,
right, okay.
I mean,
what's
that's, you know, I'm all for a bit of humor, and like I say some jokes that would get me cancelled, bro. You know what I mean?
Do you remember Shades nightclub in Hull?
No.
So this was probably the first weekend tour I did, and I remember going into, I might have said this on another podcast, but I remember going into the bathrooms and it said out of service, and like you didn't need to know because the toilet was in 2.
Oh, wow.
And it was like there was spider webs all over the thing, and I was just like, this is an education.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, Hull has really been developed, and
yeah.
I'll always be
I
proud
love
to
Hull.
be.
I really enjoyed it, I must say.
Yeah, like it's my home. I'll always be proud to be from there, but I'm not gonna front like it's if
Yeah.
yeah
Many
bit rough
places
around
in
the
London
edges,
like that too.
so-
yeah, it's a bit like rough and ready. And some of these pubs that I used to play, like it was just play and then run out. And I don't think I wasn't even 18 yet. My dad used to take me and like help me unload my gear and stuff. And then I remember one day we were loading our gear into the venue, and people were just looking at us like, you know, there was doors that we were trying to bust our way through. And then the bar lady came through. I'll never forget this. The bar lady came through and held the door for us. And she was like, "Hey up, love, I'll hold the door for you because none of these cunts will."
Wow.
Because there was like a line of blokes at the bar just watching us struggle, like me and my dad. And I was like a really skinny teen, you know?
Yeah.
You think they'd help? Yeah.
Yeah, no, like you seriously, dude. I've because I don't drive in London, so I've been when I have gigs in London, sometimes like with my guitar, and if I need to bring gear, I'll literally have like my amp or something in a suitcase, then my guitar on my back with like a bag with wires and stuff, and there'll be like hella hench people. Blokes just watch you struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really weird, actually, isn't it? Like some of the. Actually, was going to ask you. Do you think that prepared you well at doing that at such a young age? I can't think of doing that. That would scare the hell out of me. If I think of myself at that age, there is no way you would have caught me doing bar gigs in places where sometimes the reception can be pretty frosty. Do you think that prepared you well for being resilient in the future?
If you can do a gig in a whole pub, like some of, I mean, you get some nice pubs, but the pubs that I was doing at the time, because like this
like
agent,
working men's pubs and all that kind of stuff. You know, those kind of old-fashioned
like I grew up singing those like singing in those really grimy places. Because I had this agent that should just be like, "There you go." She's like, "Oh yeah, you've got a good voice. I'll get you some gigs." And I was like, "Oh, great money." Because all my mates, I mean, I've done day jobs like M&S, Co-op, like, and I got fired from nearly all of them.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the previous. Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I've
but
been
like
fired more times than I've had a job.
Yeah, so like, just doing gigs, doing music has been the only thing that's been that's really made sense, you know. And so yeah, I just did some really grimy places, but you know, having like old drunk men be like, you know what you should do.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who you look like.
The encouragement and the advice you get from people. Yeah. Oh, you should go on the radio with this.
Do you know what?
Because that's really easy just to get on the radio, isn't it? Yeah.
I was doing a gig with a friend of mine. I won't mention because they'll know what gig it was. But she just played to 6,000 people at the Hammersmith Apollo the week before, and we were doing a function gig, and. So we turn up, and I just played Pride in London, so that was pretty mental as well. Obviously, it's a session, but you know. And there was a guy there saying, "You know what you should do?" And I looked at her and I was like,
"Yeah, right.
It still happens."
Yeah,
yeah. It always used to happen when I was just like starting doing those kind of gigs, you know, because you know. And it's always like older men that feel like they need to tell you what to do. Yeah. Like the women would just encourage you.
Yeah, tends to be really lovely. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, I think it was just like the kind of places that I was playing as well. But it really prepared me for the music industry, because most of the industry is like older guys telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Is it still like that? Is that because I'm not fully aware, because obviously I come from the session place where I kind of just turn up and do my thing. Is it still heavily like that?
Yeah, but now now I'm an artist. I know what direction I want to go in. Yeah. I know who I am. Yeah, and yeah, you just you listen to people who you know their shit.
Yeah. Of course.
And who can be of good influence. Like, of course, take the good advice. But if you listen to everyone, like, because everyone has an opinion, you know.
Yes, yeah.
But if you listen to everyone, then it's just gonna get really noisy in your head, and you're not gonna know who you are. So, yeah.
Did you always kind of feel like you knew who you wanted to be, if you know, if that makes sense? So ignoring all that noise, in your head, you always kind of feel like, I'll take that with a pinch of salt, I'll take your advice, but actually I know exactly what I want to do and how I want to do it? Or has it been a kind of development thing and it's just taken to up to this point where you're like, I'm now comfortable? Or
it's always a development. We're students of life, like we're constantly developing. But with regards to music, I'd say that I really found the Izzy T sound when I moved to Leeds, and I started I met one of my best friends, Wilfred, and he's a producer. We started working on music together, and he was just like, Izzy, I know that you're into your rock and stuff, but let me add some trap beats behind that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, because I really love like rock and hip hop. And I think it's because they're both aggressive, just in different ways. I like anything aggressive.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's my sound now.
Yeah. And it's a great sound. It's pretty original for me. I love the sound of it, and
Thanks.
I actually think listening to it, it's so, for me, it's so well produced, really well produced, and pro sounding. You know, which am I right in saying that all this is self-funded?
Completely self-funded,
off your own back. See, that is really impressive to me, because you do hear a lot of people that kind of go out on their own, and I've got this track, I've recorded this, and it's like, it sounds okay. It sounds decent.
Sorry, let me give some credit actually. When I went to LA, the time before last time, I started a little crowdfunding thing. Okay. But that was like a few months ago. But most of my artist career is like
But that's still
I'm not signed.
Yeah, exactly. That's still you generating your own funding from it, which is great. You know, even if you are getting funded from,
it's a great way of doing it.
Crowdfunding stuff. That's great, because it's still self motivation. It's your own drive.
Yeah.
You know, there's no like label or something saying here's a load of money, which I don't even think happens anymore, because they can't afford to make mistakes. So you
has
don't
to be
get
much
that.
more of a sure bet now.
Yeah,
I guess,
you don't get them kind of, here's 50 grand to go and make your album, and we'll make it work for you. It's like, okay, how many Instagram followers you got? How many YouTube hits have you got? If you've got enough, then they might say, okay, let's give you a little bit of money that we want paid back. You know, so it's very difficult. So yeah, for you to do all that off your own back is great. So how do you come up with like the songs and stuff? Is it writing with, Will, you said, Wilfred?
Yes, I started writing with Wilfred, and then another friend in Leeds called Farone. It was great because when I was a student in Leeds, it was more like we were just doing it for fun. But like now it's my career, and there's stress behind, okay, gotta release this on this date, and gotta have promo here and there. But when I was a student, there's beauty in just creating for the sake of creating. Sometimes I really miss that, because nowadays I'm in the studio with a vision, with like a goal. Either it's a brief or there's real beauty in just getting together with people and your mates and being like, let's just see what comes out. Sometimes I do that, but I guess when you make your artistry your career, you have to take it a lot more seriously, and it has to be a lot more organized, and because you're paying for studio time and stuff, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it helps keep me organized and helps me release more consistently if there's dates and stuff.
It helps to work to a deadline.
Is that something when the penny dropped a little bit and you're like, oh, suddenly you're like, I know this happened for me, where suddenly you're like, I need to actually get like plans in place. I need to have like a schedule of whether it's to do with social media, whether it's to do with whatever it's to do with. Or was there a gradual realization or a mixture of both?
So I got to a point where I thought, okay, if I'm really serious about this and I want this to be my career, I'm gonna have to do some of the shit that I hate, like creating videos for social media and stuff. But you kind of you learn to enjoy it. It becomes fun when you can be creative with it.
Yeah.
If you're just doing it for the sake of posting, then it really becomes a drag. But if you can have fun with it,
like sitting on the edge of a roof.
Yeah, you know.
I got so much fear looking at that.
That video shoot was really awesome. But yeah, I just learned, okay, this is part of being a musician now. Social media, the content is these days more important than the actual music, you know? I mean, to me, it will always be having good music first, but of course, I'm gonna because that's where my real passion is, and if I stop doing something that I'm passionate about, then it's just not enjoyable for me anymore. But I have to do content, so I do content that I'm going to find fun, and that is meaningful to me. So I'll build content around being on the edge of buildings and playing my guitar, or whether I'm in London or LA, in like places that I enjoy hanging out at, whether it's video footage of me boxing or fucking up a bag in the gym, and then just like making content out of that. I create content around my life. I don't put my life around content, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I think it's really important.
Yeah, I think, and it just gives you a better insight into who you are as well, because
more authentic.
More authentic, because it's very easy to kind of create these Instagram setups and with the ring lights and stuff, and kind of force it. You know, and kind of like you said, just release content for the sake of releasing it, because you have to be seen to be doing stuff. But yeah, I mean, some of your videos are great. I mean, we spoke about earlier, but like when you're just going up to people and popping earbuds in their ears,
that is scary.
Do you want to listen to my song?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty ballsy. You know, how was that? Was it kind of premeditated? Thought this is exactly what I want to do? Was it kind of a case of like, what should we do to kind of grab people's attention?
I saw this TikTok video of someone else doing it, and then I thought, you know what? I used to busk. That's actually how I met my boxing coach. He saw me in Leicester Square, and then years later when I stopped boxing, he saw me training like online, and then he was like, I can be your coach. But yeah, with what was the question again?
It was about the videos, like going up to people.
Sorry. I'm pretty sure I have ADHD.
I'm made that too.
Pure ADHD brain. But yeah, I saw someone else doing it on TikTok, and then I thought, that looks really fun. Yeah. And the difference between Izzy now and Izzy in school, like, I hated people because like the kids in school were horrible. Right little shits, but
kids can be the meanest, right?
Oh yeah. Like they were all like little rich kids, and But now I love people. I'm a people person, and so I actually like meeting new people. I genuinely do, and I thought this looks really fun and just a good way to get my music out there. Why not? I'm always open to different ways of people. Having people consume my music somehow. And it was just hella fun, like going around with my friend who was filming me. You might know him, Leo Player.
The name was about
yeah. But yeah, I went around London with my mate, and then we just went round. The first person that I approached, he He must have been a criminal or something. But he was like, get the camera out my face. That's
really?
against the law. Yeah.
Proper shady.
Yeah. And I was like, bro, what have you done? So the first person, it was an absolute disaster. And he was looking at Leo like he wanted to hit him. So I stood in front of Leo like, you're all right, mate.
Okay. Wow.
See you later.
Yeah, bloody hell, yeah.
So it can be risky. Definitely do it with a mate. But it was really fun.
How was like the overall reaction? Was it? I mean, obviously you posted some of the better comments, but were there any ones that were like, no, this is not for me, and you kind of thought, well, I shouldn't be doing this, or?
No. British people are way too polite and avoidant to be like that. Like British people,
true.
like British people, like they're really good. I mean, I'm half British. I can say this, you know what I mean. But they're really good at even pretending that they love something.
Yeah.
So I wasn't worried. But the people who I got seemed to genuinely like the song, and they were very positive, very friendly. And I wanted to approach people who didn't look like the typical Izzy T fan.
Mm-hmm.
But
Makes it more interesting.
yeah, definitely. But I realised at my gigs that there is no typical Izzy T fan, because I make music that lends itself well to both the young and the older audience. So it's a really mixed audience.
Well, we were saying before,
which I love.
We met up for coffee before, and we were just talking about your music and saying how like distinctive your vocal and your writing is. And you know, I tend to listen to a bit of everything just by nature of what we do. I think we both do that, but tends to be on the funk sort of side and stuff like that. But I was really digging it as well. Like I sound so old saying digging it, but
It was really hit, man.
It was
it was so hit,
smashing.
man. But yeah, no, smashing.
Smashing.
I love
was
pulling that
spiffing.
one out of the bag sometimes. Smashing.
Smashing.
But yeah, no, I found that we were saying like I think it helps when you're a distinctive artist too, which you seem to be, and yeah, I think that probably aids that a little bit. Do you feel that helps in a lot of ways?
I mean, I try to be original, but
Is it something that just naturally happens, or something you really think about?
I guess I've always just been into what I've been into, and I create music that I like, and I'm lucky that I'm not lucky. I'm glad that people like it too. I'm not lucky. I work fucking hard.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I'm always like, whenever someone says, "Oh, you got a good gig" or something like that, "Oh, that's really cool," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm so lucky," and then I think, I've actually worked bloody hard for this. Like,
Yeah.
am I discrediting
Yeah.
it?
Well, it's a bit like going back to what we were saying earlier about, you know, when people sort of ask you, oh, how long have you been doing this? And you said you was a little bit embarrassed about sort of mentioning how long you've been doing it. But I don't think you should be, because it's all learning, you know.
Yeah.
Like going back to them gigs when you're 17, 18 in pubs, like it's all part of your apprenticeship, you know. And it doesn't matter if it's 10 years later or however long. It's all part of your, like you said, your journey to get into where you are now. I don't think you should ever be embarrassed about that.
My mate used to say to me, be unashamed. He was a busker, actually, really good busker. And he would say to me, I mean, he obviously is an artist in his own right, but I mean, he used to busk. And he would say, be unashamedly you. And it's the best bit of advice I had for a long time, because, you know, own it. It's kind of what he was saying, you know.
Yeah, honestly, because people don't even know what they like these days. And I'm talking about industry people, because there's so much of the same on radio.
Yeah.
I mean, now and then a tune will come on and I'll be like, yeah, this is banging, but there's a lot of the same. People's vocal, like a lot of people's vocals are produced the same.
Yeah.
It all sounds so samey.
Yeah.
But what I really love about when Billie Eilish came out, she was just so different and so against what the industry is. You know, she wasn't this. She wasn't this typical pop star. That's what I'm saying. Her sound was really dark and really depressing, and I was like, oh, finally someone who gets me. Like,
Substance.
Yeah, exactly, substance, which I think that it's been lacking for quite a while.
I'd be inclined to agree. I think I think she's amazing, but I think that is exactly it. What I think a lot of us as artists, musicians, just creatives in general, I think that's what we crave, isn't it? It's substance and authenticity. And when you find that in someone who's huge, you think,
and something unique, just something that kind of jumps out. You're like, that's completely different to what I've just heard. You know, as opposed to that could be that singer, but it could also be, you know, that track could be them. That it could also be that. There's so many of, like you said, the same kind of vocal. I mean, there are probably about 5 or 6 vocalists out there at the minute. I couldn't tell them apart.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just 'cause I'm really old now, but but that's what I feel like. It's like they just sound like clones of each other. But I guess is that just the industry going, well, that works, so let's just make
copy paste.
Let's just make 10 more of those.
Yeah.
They'll all work, and then someone else will come out like Billie Eilish, and it'll just kind of spin it on its head, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, okay, we can do something else now.
That's why I've always stuck to my sound. Like the production has evolved, but like my sound I've stayed loyal to, because you've got to remember that people are sheep. People just go with whatever is popping off.
Yeah.
100%. And there's literally like people who won't even give you the time of day, but then once they see that you've like been playlisted on Spotify, they're like, oh yeah, that's a really cool song. And it happens in circles. People come back.
Yeah. I think as well, like there's an element, I always thought of it as 2 different things. I grew up being, you know, my bands, that your Green Day effectively was Muse for me. So I love Muse. I was obsessed with them for years. But I love the fact that they were so grandiose, but also I love the fact that they were so Muse. They sounded so unique. And I think there's an element of, if you're the same as everyone else, you might have your 5 minutes. But if you've got your own sort of authentic thing, I do think that it's got a bit more longevity to it.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's how I think. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's how I've always thought of it.
Yeah, that's the key, longevity, because there's so many people trying to follow a trend because they just want to make it.
Yeah.
But you've got to define what your idea of making it is.
That's it. What is your idea of making it then? Like, just out of interest. I find this such a fascinating topic.
Being able to live, just to be healthy, first of all, wealthy, from doing what I love, music.
Yeah.
I don't really want a lot. I just want to be able to have a comfortable life, be able to look after myself, my family, my partner, and maybe even get a little sausage dog. I'd actually love a little sausage dog.
That is the benchmark for success. I've got the sausage dog now. I've completed life.
Yeah, that's
I've made
how
it.
I'm going to know I made it.
Yeah. Get a sausage dog. Okay.
Yeah, you know, getting the important stuff sorted first.
Yeah.
But I really want to play arenas, man. Arenas and tour, which I'm so sure that it's going to happen. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've travelled a bit. I mean, you've mentioned LA a few times. So, and you kind of, it sounds like you've been there more than once. How did that come about to begin with? Because I mean, like, you talk to any musician and you say, I've gone to LA. That's like, oh shit, that's like the holy grail of you've made it. You know, is it everything you expected, or is it not?
No. It's people think that is really glamorous, and once you're there, you've made it. It's bollocks. It's actually a really grimy place. Central LA, there's bless them, there's a lot. There's a big homelessness problem. Literally, like, there'll be a line of tents down certain streets in central LA. There's homelessness is a problem. And for one of the richest countries in the world, you think, wow.
It shouldn't be a thing, should it?
But Yeah, going to LA, it doesn't mean jack shit, because you can go there and like someone could go there and then just sit on their arse by the pool and not do anything.
Absolutely.
Whenever I go, I try and be as productive as I can. I went on my own after a breakup, because I was just like, fuck this, I'm going to LA. And then
Most people do their hair.
Yeah. Most people just go on the piss for a little bit, but you know.
normal girls just go to the salon or
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
No, that's a really sexist thing to say, but yeah, like I didn't change my hair. Instead, I just changed country.
Yeah. One way of doing it. And
If that was me, I'd just be like, I'm going to get some new clothes.
yeah, I'm going down Spoons for a few bits.
No, I got on a flight, mate, and yeah, I just I contacted some people beforehand about working together and about just doing a few shows, but I didn't go with a master plan. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But when I was there, I met so many people that things just kept happening. Yeah. I played the Viper Room. I worked with this producer called Jake Magnus, who did some work on the Tickets to My Downfall album, which is Machine Gun Kelly's like big rock breakthrough album. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go with that guy.
Yeah.
And we co-wrote Catch Myself, and then that came out, and it was like my comeback record, and it got a bunch of BBC Radio 1 plays and just loads of really good feedback and support from people. I'm really proud of that single. And yeah, LA was very, very good to me, so I just continued to come back,
of course. Work
with different people, play new venues. And yeah, it's been one hell of a ride.
Yeah, and then you went to Nashville as well.
I went to Nashville a few years ago. God, it was like quite a few years ago. I love to travel, but I've been mainly going to LA just because it's got a really good rock scene. Nashville, it's again got an amazing scene, but for the kind of music that I do, because Nashville is very blues, country. Yeah. It's got a bit of everything, but those are the main kind of genres. But LA is just really rock and roll, so I like fast-paced places.
Yeah. I mean, sounds great.
Henry, next time we have a breakup, mate, that's where you're going.
That's where I'm going. I'm not sure I can afford it.
So, one of the things we've learned about you, which some people might not know, is that you're actually really into boxing.
Yeah.
How did that start? Where did that come from?
So honestly, I got depression in between 2021 and then halfway through 2022. That was interesting.
Yeah.
But one of the things the doctor recommended was just physical exercise, because I just wasn't, I wasn't having proper exercise.
Right.
And that's something that can make you feel really full of energy and happier.
Endorphins and that.
Yeah, exactly. So I was really committed to getting better. So I started going to these boxercise classes. It was a bit scary because I didn't know anyone and I felt a little bit like an imposter. But they were really fun. It was good because I was within a community.
Yeah.
I made new friends. And then after a while, I just didn't feel that challenge because I was just punching a bag and doing a circuit,
So you wanted to find people?
Yeah. Victims. No, but it's just something that I've always enjoyed watching combat. Yeah. If there's a fight on the street, I'll stand and watch and put it. So, it's something that genuinely
Now I know why
just
you
excites you, does it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say that I don't even care if it's an unpopular opinion. You cannot tell me that football is more exciting than combat. You know what I mean? Like, you probably disagree, but combat is way more entertaining. Football is like, I hurt my ankle.
There was a moment in MotoGP. Sorry, I'm going on about
come on,
MotoGP.
it's
I apologise.
MotoGP.
I love the sport. But there's a moment where this rider, Alicia Spargo, goes up behind Frankie Morbidelli and hits him around the helmet, the head.
The hell?
I was going to say, this is a different conversation now, mate.
Where's the helmet in football?
It's not football, it's MotoGP. So this is
Oh,
motorcycle
sorry,
racing.
yeah.
So he's gone past and they're riding together. They're probably, I don't know, going about 90 or something. He smacks him around the head. And that probably got the most views of anything. Like
Yeah.
entire season.
People like violence.
They love violence.
People love violence,
Yeah.
seriously. But yeah, it was just something. The boxer size classes were really cool. They had community, and I really enjoyed it because I grew up around boxing. Some of the gigs that I used to do when I was like trying to make money living in Hull as a kid, I'd sing in like I'd sing in the breaks. So the fighters would come off the ring, and then I would go into the ring with my acoustic guitar.
Oh, really? What kind of songs you do?
It's got to be like, what would it be? What's the Rocky one?
Yeah, just the Rocky montage.
Rising up.
That's it, just over and over again, right?
But
Another One Bites the Dust would be another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to sing in like in the intervals at these boxing shows at a place called O'Reilly's in Hull. It was so scary because the room was literally filled with testosterone, aggressive northern fucking testosterone.
Yeah.
Like sometimes these like beard up guys would put their hands in the ring and try and touch you and stuff. And my mum, like, I get the Persian side from my mum. And she's like a firecracker. Anyone who would try and underpay me or disrespect me or like touch me, she'd be there. Like her mouth was like a gun. It was like a weapon. She'd just end them.
Wow.
Like short but aggressive lady.
Yeah.
Can she do my invoices for me? The chase ups, and all that stuff.
She wants a
mate.
protection bracket now.
She'd get you paid for this month and next month.
Wow. I mean, that's the weird gig.
It
I've
was
done a
such
few-
a weird
I've
gig.
done a few odd gigs, but that's
That's probably the most odd gig I've ever heard.
I mean, why? Yeah, it's just an interesting combination of acoustic guitar playing and
like-
smashing people up.
Especially acoustic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like playing a bit of acoustic. Can you imagine going on there and just playing something really soft, like some, I don't know,
I think it was.
Beach Boys?
I
or
think
something?
it was intentional to calm people the fuck down.
Oh, that's actually quite
Oh,
a good
really?
shout.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was intentional. Like, oh, okay, let's get a girl singer to play acoustic guitar. But I sang rock songs. You know what I mean? So it didn't help that much. But yeah, I've always been around boxing.
Yeah.
And then there was the boxer size classes because I wanted to do something physical. I wanted to have some kind of exercise, but I get bored in the gym. It's the ADHD thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Concentration
the
levels
gym.
just.
Yeah.
It's just like you're looking at the same walls and everything else. Like,
Well, it's tedious. Like the gym is one of them things. Like, because I'll admit I signed up a couple of months ago, and like the first 2 weeks I was like, yeah, smashing this out 4 times a week. Yeah, I felt good. I didn't go for 1 week, and I haven't been since.
My cousin used to make
It's
the
just
joke.
one of them things.
My cousin used to make the
Yeah.
joke to my family all the time. He used to think this was hilarious, but he said I signed up to the gym, but I couldn't get the door open. But I used to prefer like running. Whenever I used to go running or anything like that, it used to be. We were saying about like open spaces because obviously I used to live near you, and we were saying about like there's an airstrip where I used to go and just run alongside it and having the valley and everything you could see, like it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But I'd much prefer that than running on a treadmill. You know what I mean? Like that just sounds
Or
like
getting your face smashed in, which Izzy seems to love.
that would scare
Whoa.
the hell out of me.
No, I like the smashing part, but the other way around.
yeah.
So yeah, I went to LA, and then there was this advert, like 3 minutes in the ring, and this is actually like coming out of depression, and I thought, you know what, if I can do that, I can do anything.
Yeah.
So it was extremely empowering for me. So I booked my first fight, and it's kind of like a like beginner amateur kind of thing anyway. So I was going up against other girls who were of a similar level to me. But me and my friend Vincent, bless him, he helped me train a bit because he's done MMA and stuff before. But we weren't in a fancy gym or anything. It was literally like, you know, boxing palm tree like leaves and stuff.
Oh wow! So
And just very stuff in the front yard of the Airbnb that we were staying, and then sparring a bit with him, and yeah, and then the fight came up, and I saw this chick. She was a bit shorter than me, but she was buff. And I was like, why did I get myself? This is the thought that comes into your head before a fight, because there's adrenaline when you're about to perform, and then there's adrenaline when you're about to fucking fight someone. And then this thought came into my head like, Izzy, what the fuck have you signed up for?
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I showed up. I put my gloves on, and I just, the first round was wild. It was just like, very.
Did you find yourself having to calm down and go? Like,
yeah. I just went raging in like a bull, and so did she. Arms spinning everywhere, and then my friend Vincent was like, "Look, remember what I told you?" Like my hand, and then I just remembered what I did with the jabs and cross and stuff with his hands. And this is before I actually started going to my coach Rakeem. And then second round comes, and I started doing a lot better. And then third round comes, and I had some of my friends over there, and my friends were like hella nervous. It was 11. It was something like 10 or 11 a.m. in the morning, and they're like, because smoking weed is legal in California, so they're there with their ones like trying to calm themselves down, because
it's no wonder you weren't just like haze by the end of the fight.
Yeah, because it's intense, and bless them, I think they were worried for me because I've never done anything like that before. But then I won, and then I did another fight after that.
Yeah.
And that was definitely harder. She was a tough bitch, but I won that as well. And then the most recent fight that I did, that I found easier, because after struggling in the last fight, because I was really square on, like I was hardly dodging or ducking, like my block, it just wasn't there. So
you worked on that.
Yeah, so I'm really glad that I had that shitty experience, because my fight after that was a lot better. My block was so much better. I ducked more. You really need to work out your legs when you box, because you duck a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, it served me well. I like the discipline that comes with boxing.
Yeah.
It just forces you to think, okay, I've got a fight coming up. I need to eat well. I need to train. And it serves for when I'm performing, because I'm a very like active performer. I run around stage, like I climb things sometimes. I'm on the floor. Like you can't do all of that.
Buildings.
you can't do all of that being unfit.
Yeah, of course.
No.
Yeah.
So it's the discipline that I need.
I think you can apply it to life in general as well, can't you? I imagine.
Yeah.
I've spoken to people who've done it a little bit before, or they've, I think one of them was an ex-pro, I can't remember, but so much the same. You can apply that discipline to life, and I think, it's something you can learn, isn't it? For wider use.
And did that? So did you think doing that sort of helped a lot with your depression and mental health and stuff?
Oh yeah, 100%. It gave me so much confidence. Yeah, it's amazing what boundaries and working out and therapy and meditation can do.
Yeah. Do you think it's, some people describe it as like imagining that you're your own best friend?
Ooh,
does that make sense? Like,
I like that.
How you see yourself now is like, what would I say to my best friend if they were getting in this situation, or if they were behaving like this, or if they were thinking of themselves this way?
That's a really good way of thinking about it. If you mirror that situation, that's a really good way, because I wouldn't treat my friend or talk about my friend the way that I was treating and talking about myself when I was depressed.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
So with all that experience, is that why? Because we also learned that you started doing talks at secondary schools.
Yeah.
About mental health and stuff like that. So is that where you sort of thought I can draw on those experiences and sort of help other kids, or is that where it kind of come from?
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird because I actually started doing it before I got depression. I guess the mind has just always been very fascinating to me. When I was leaving school, I was actually looking into studying psychology, but my maths grade wasn't good enough.
Right.
I got an E, and I told my mum it was E for excellent. But yeah,
I'm guessing she didn't believe you.
no, my maths grade wasn't good enough, so I couldn't study psychology. But it's always been something that I've been extremely interested in, and I listen to podcasts and I read about it. But then all of a sudden, I was in a position where I needed to study and read myself. But that's where like the therapy came in handy. So yeah, it was something that I did. I talked about mental health when I was going to these schools, and then having depression and then coming out of depression. It helped with my talks because I'd actually experienced it. This one kid I will never ever forget. Again, this is at 9 a.m, because I give the kids a chance at the end to ask questions. And then this kid was like, "Have you ever been suicidal?" And then all the heads in the room turned to me, because everyone's heads move at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I was really taken back by it because I felt like she was looking into my soul.
So direct.
Wow.
Yeah, really direct.
And kids are like that, aren't they? They just
Yeah.
say
No
what's
filter,
on their mind.
no
There's
filter at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I love kids. You just get the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No nonsense. But I answered truthfully. I said, yeah, when I was depressed, I was really suicidal.
Yeah.
And I think they appreciated that I was very straightforward with them, and I said, look, I don't have any qualifications in psychology. I'm just here to tell you what I've experienced and to give you my perspective on things. And I think they could really relate to that.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like this old pastor called Harold coming in to talk about Easter. And like,
Harold, you know.
or
I
like,
know him well, actually.
Sound of Thomas the Tank Engine.
and we're all going to sing hymns because as a kid, like, it's just so repetitive. And I think it was refreshing for them.
Yeah.
To have someone like close to their age talk some dark truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
But
it's important.
I make it fun as well, I end on some songs and then we take pictures at the end. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing to do. Yeah, there was another question I was going to ask, but it slipped my mind.
It
Sorry,
slipped
Phil.
in mine. That's fine. So I was just going to bring it back to the music now. And some of your videos are really good. I really like them. I like the one in the cage. I thought that was quite...
Oh yeah, Nuclear.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Like, it's just, again, like for me, it's just having, if you're an artist, it's great to have, I think, well, this is something I think you should have, is the bigger picture in your head. So when you're writing a song, this is what it was like for me when I used to do that little, songwriting and stuff. It was, I'd have it in my head how it should sound, and then I'd have the visuals already with it, and it's like, okay, that's going to sound like that. It has to, how do I make that sound like that? When it comes to the visuals, it has to look like that. How do I make that happen? So how do you come up with your video ideas? Do you have help? Who shoots them? What's the thinking behind those?
So for Nuclear, I knew that I wanted to I knew that I wanted it to be a collaborative track, because it had like, this is before I even got Logic. I was just sat on GarageBand, and I had my guitar, and I just had this riff in my head, like da 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 da, and just that. Like, I'm not a guitarist, but I'm good at coming up with short, catchy riffs.
Mm-hmm.
And then I recorded it and then made it sound like a crunchy bass. When it was an acoustic guitar.
Oh, okay.
And then
It's actually a technique a lot of bassists use. Years ago, they used to put acoustic guitar with bass to thicken up the sound a little bit. Give it a little bit of
really?
crunch. Yeah. So it's funny, you actually
there you go.
subconsciously did what other people have done as well.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
But
quite fun.
yeah, I'm like, my main instrument is my voice. I play guitar, but I don't shred or anything. I just play like rhythm and come up with some riffs sometimes. But I put that in, and then I just put a rough beat loop to it. And then I took it to this producer that worked at Metropolis Studios, and I just I'd had a fight with my partner at the time, and I was really fucking pissed off. So the words just flew out of me.
Yeah.
And there was the song, but I needed a producer to polish it up and make it sound more like a song and less like loops. So yeah, I emailed this guy at Metropolis Studios and forgot about it. And then he got back to me saying, I really love this. Let's work on it. And then we produce it, and I'm looking for a male artist, maybe a rapper, so that it adds that different flavor.
Yeah.
And then I discovered Ben Hunter, who was also working with a producer that I was working with, a different producer that I was working with at the time. And I hit him up, and he was like, yo, this is dope. He came in, put his bit down. I also got a beatboxer to beatbox on the track a little bit, so that's kind of layered into the beat.
Nice.
I heard all these things,
Yeah.
but the producer just molded everything together beautifully. I explained what I wanted, and he could hear it as well.
That's how you know it's a good idea when it communicates well, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
That's great when someone actually understands
Yeah.
what you do, because it's very. I know various people that found it very hard to get a producer that understands what you want to put in a track, because if they don't hear it, then it's very hard to kind of say, I can hear it in my head. How can you do it? And they go, I don't know what you want. So that's really good that you got a producer that can actually hear what you're hearing.
I think what can really help a producer is when you can supply them with reference tracks. When you can say, okay, I like the 808 in this track. And just paint a picture for them, because
do you think that's come from doing your own production as well with GarageBand and stuff? Like you were saying there, like I like the 808 in that track. The fact that you know
what an 808 is.
An 808 is, and also the specific bits of a track that you like. They might be like, I really like the tone of the guitar here, or you know, the way that the drums are, whatever. Is that something that you found useful for your sort of referencing and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, 100%. I think knowledge is power, and if you can approach a producer with ideas and references to what vibe you want to create. I mean, sometimes it's different. Sometimes you can just go into a studio and just bounce ideas off each other and create on the spot. I love doing that, because that's just a really cool bounce of energy. But I also like to be prepared, and I like to just have something.
Yeah.
But this particular track, because I just heard everything and I saw everything. I saw black slime, and because the beat and the riff is so dirty that I thought it needs some kind of grit and dirt in the video. And that's where the idea for the black slime came. We made that with honey and black food coloring. And my dad, bless him, along with Grade A Productions, they came with a whole team the whole shebang. And some of the runners were with my dad, having these buckets full of honey.
That's so cool.
Mate, it was wild. And then pouring black food colouring in and stirring it.
Halloween ideas, people.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want black slime,
That's
heard
how
it from
you-
Izzy T first.
Baiting it.
God, I bet that was a nightmare to wash off, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
It was. I was slipping and sliding that set at like fucking Bambi, bro. It was wild, and because Ben got slime on him as well. Straight away. Shan and the crew just took us to the showers it took a long while to get the honey out my hair.
I was going to say, I bet. I mean,
Yeah.
being bald myself, it would have come off quite nicely, but
just had a nice
with that
little
hair,
squeak.
that would have been doing a nice sheen on the top.
Would have been like a spa treatment for you.
Yeah, exactly. I might do it next week. So that's quite good. But yeah, I imagine that was.
All right,
yeah,
babe, it's got
crazy.
that honey glow.
Got my glossy head.
I'll have to put my sunglasses on when I'm around.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, again, that just for me, that just goes back to what I think an artist should be.
Yeah.
And that's having those visual ideas in your head, before you've got there and going, I need slime.
Yeah.
That's what is conjuring in my head. I need
And having
slime.
the courage to just go, I'm going to fucking
I'm going to do
this.
it. Yeah. I'm going to plunge into
Yeah.
some black honey. That's great. This is exactly what you want from an artist.
Yeah. I'm always like getting either like wet or dirty in my videos. That like
She is from Hull,
wanna get dirty. No, seriously, like because the video shoot after that I also did with Grade A. I was in a big, like I bought this big fish tank so that I could be like dunked in it, and then from the bottom they would film me like as if I was drowning. So I've just had some really wacky ideas
That
that
must
they've
have been
managed
interesting
to
in the aquarium.
put together. Yeah, yeah.
What did you
There's
tell
the
them what they were
shark
using it
tank.
for?
There's Izzy.
But it
Come
was
to see you,
fun.
Mr. Bond.
It was fun. I think you've got to switch it up, and I love music videos. I hate that music videos are being faded out by like
Yeah,
small
it's sad.
TikTok videos. I love music videos.
But
Yeah.
it's just so impressive to look at, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think,
It's cool.
it also, I suppose it does feed into the whole TikTok thing as well, because if you've got something that looks impressive, straight away, that's like, okay, you're going to get noticed for doing that. So I do think there's still a lot of impact that videos can have, as opposed to just like people just doing the dance and stuff.
Yeah.
That was so
I-
dad.
I-
That was so dad, wasn't it?
I want that as a meme.
But yeah, I do think in having them videos is impressive. It's something you should definitely have. Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm still thinking of it.
you can't get out of your head now, can you?
That is, but next time we go out to a bar, you're doing that.
It's
do that anyway.
when your dad is
Yeah.
walking to the dance floor and it's like,
Yeah, it's just I'm not going to dance too much, but until I'm there, then I'm going to give it something.
It's now called the Swan.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Let myself into that one. All right, so that's what you've been doing. So what are you doing now? What's upcoming? Got any gigs coming up? What's next for you?
so I've just released my brand new single, Love to Hate You.
Out now.
Out now. Yeah, that was actually really fun to shoot visuals for, because I was in LA when I released it and went to Venice Beach. It was just gonna be
As you do.
As you do.
as you do, like it was just gonna be me stood in front of the skate park, just like miming the words and then putting the music on top. But then there was this skater that was like, "Hey, I'll skate over your head," and then I was like, "Go on then." and then
See, if that was me, I'd have had like a full helmet on.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
just
yeah.
in case. At
that point,
it
we
quite had
should,
the same effect.
How good are you? He's like,
I'd been watching him and I could tell that he was skilled. So the trust that I had in this man, like
Yeah.
it was very random, but something I always listen to my gut, and my gut told me to trust him, so I did. And then he did it. He did, like, he went up the ramp, and the guy that was shooting me was like, "Izzy, keep try and keep still, don't move, will you? And I had to like perform in front of the camera whilst I could see the look on my friend's like face who was filming me. Like he looked hella worried, and I was like, okay, Izzy, like look cool, just be relaxed. Because I wasn't scared, but then looking at him made me like
terrified.
yeah.
Was he like, fuck?
But I just thought, just do
Just
it.
do it.
And then I got into the song, and then he just went straight over my head on his skateboard, and like you can't hear it in the video really, but everyone around the ring just cheered because it was such a great moment.
It's pretty epic.
But yeah, happy that people have been enjoying the release. I try and bring something different with every release, and I wrote some songs and got some songs produced in LA that I'm so excited about. One is so like, it's still Izzy, but it's a bit softer but epic, and I'm really excited to release that one. I think that one could be the like,
Could go places.
yeah, I mean they all do, but this particular song is special.
Yeah. Have that feeling about it.
Yeah. You know when you just write a song, it was actually co-wrote with Jeremy and Posey, and we all looked at each other after it was one of those sessions where we looked at each other and we were like, this is actually a hit.
Yeah.
So,
I think it was Nile Rodgers saying that about, was it Let's Dance? David Bowie. Apparently he said, do you think it'll be a hit? And he was just like, yeah, it'll be a hit. It's like, imagine being that cool.
Yeah. Imagine being like someone like Nile Rodgers is still questioning, is this any good? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it was Bowie said it to Rodgers, and Rodgers just went,
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
Well, that's quite interesting, though, isn't it? Even like people of that size, still have that little doubt in their head that goes, this might not work. You know, this might not be a hit.
Yeah.
because they're artists, and as artists we're always questioning ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we're like, we become artists because there's some part of us that is like, yeah. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, being an artist in some ways is kind of unhealthy because if you're doing it as a career, you constantly need external validation for your career to progress.
Yeah.
And there's something really fucked up about it.
There is something messed up about that. But what I admire about what you're doing is that there is something in your head going, I'm going to follow what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that is quite admirable because so many of us wouldn't have the kind of guts to do that, and would, in the past, I've been in that situation where you just listen too much to everyone else. You know what I mean? And that's so common, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's very important just to, like we said earlier, just to listen to yourself, because your gut instinct is, and what you want to do is what's most important. And if you like it, people will buy into that. You know, you're selling yourself. You're not trying to sell someone else's ideas. You're selling yourself.
Yeah.
So if you've got conviction behind it, people will go, "That's great." You know, I'm jumping on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Again, really admire what you're doing, and
Thanks, man.
Just keep going because it's great. It's really good.
Genuinely been really a pleasure to have you in.
Oh, it's been a pleasure being here.
Yeah, no, it's been
thank
great.
you, lads.
Well, thank you very much, Izzy T, for being on our podcast.
Yes, a second guest.
Second guest.
Oh, it's becoming a thing now.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll be famous soon.
be millionaires.
This time next year, Rodney.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just need some
They actually did
advertising
make
money.
it in the end, didn't they?
Yeah. Just need to find a watch and we'll sell it on eBay.
Yeah.
Well, you've definitely got the hat, haven't you?
Yeah.
He's there.
Vintage hat.
So as a final thing, did you want to talk about the next 5 years? Do you have a 5-year plan, like seeing yourself in
Prison.
I think we need to end it on that.
Perfect. I remember there was someone last week, we were on a gig in the pub, we were playing away, and then Sid got them on the mic, and they literally like metal screamed down the mic instead of singing a song, and I was like, well, that's new.
Yeah.
Well, that's original.
I've definitely not heard that before. It's like living on a prayer.
Oh my God. Know your audience.
Yeah.
Learn that lesson. Well, it has been a pleasure. And genuinely, so it's fascinating to hear about your life. I feel like you're someone who just gets involved, just pulls the sleeves up and goes, right, what's coming next? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's how people would describe you usually, but I feel like that would be an accurate assessment from what I've seen. Is I kind of admire the gutsiness to just go, I'm going in. Let's see what happens.
Well, she's the bollocks of the band.
Yeah,
she's got to be like
got
that.
To be.
I'd be like really cautious about stuff and be like, I'm a bit like, I can be like that at times, but not all the time. And I'm working to get to that point. So I feel like I could learn that from you. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Forward. So I really appreciate that.
I used to be really shy. And then this, when I was just working, when I was developing my sound and stuff, I'll never forget this. I've had I used to go to a few different vocal coaches because they were all great, but I learned something different from each one.
Yeah.
And this particular vocal coach, I did a gig that she'd put together. It was like a festival. And then after my set, she was like this just really strong, ballsy woman. And she was like, look, Izzy, you've got everything going for you. You've got the sound, but you're not confident. I want to see the fierce bitch that I hear in your songs, but I don't believe it. And then I really took that. And having criticism like that never made me bitter, because I knew that it was coming from a good place, and I knew that it was true. Like, I'll always hold my hands up if I know something's true, because as I said, we're all students of life. We're constantly progressing. And after that, I really worked on more of the performance side. Yeah. And just being more diplomatic with bookers, players. Yep. And people will respect you more if you respect yourself more and trust yourself more, because it's like blood to a shark. The moment people sense any kind of weakness, like you give them an arms, and then they'll take more. You've actually, especially as a woman in the music business, you've got to be even more fierce. But then the problem with that is that as soon as you assert yourself in a position, if you feel like something's not going the right way, then you're difficult.
Yeah, this is something that I think we touched upon with Katie as well, is that it's difficult.
Whereas if you're a guy, it'll be a boss move.
Exactly.
Yeah,
precisely.
It'll be innovative, but if you're a woman saying stuff,
it's still a huge problem with that, I think.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's a cultural thing too. Personally, I don't know, but I think it's a cultural thing that slowly will be hopefully rooted out. I think that's a very hopeful, positive way of looking at things.
Yeah.
But
no, I think that it's getting better.
Yeah.
The Middle East needs to catch up with that shit.
But I noticed a few of your posts actually.
But like in the West, it's the patriarchy is still there. It's definitely still there. It's just not to the extreme of the Middle East. But advice I'd give to women, men, like whoever, whatever you are, if you wanna gain more confidence, put yourself in a difficult position. Make yourself have those difficult conversations with people, because those are the only spaces where you'll grow. Yeah.
Wow. And that seems very good to end on. My word. That's the best bit of advice I've received in ages.
Now all fuck off, we are.
Yeah, I know, right? Do you do therapy sessions?
Fuck off.
That was amazing. Thank you.
No, it's great.
Thank you so much.
Cheers for the drink. Cheers, lads.
You're welcome.
You can find me online. Sometimes I'm on Crime Watch. But where I am mainly is Instagram, Izzy T Official. Do they even still have Crime Watch?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Is it?
No, I don't know.
I was on there last week, mate.
Yeah. No, it is, yeah.
But all social media platforms are just Izzy T Official.
Done.
Rock on.
Cheers.
Sweet.
I'm the last person you want to say rock on, isn't it? I sound like your
Mate,
dad.
that's worse than that. That is.
Rock on. Dudes. So that was the Jam Spot Pod. That was episode 2 with Izzy T. I think you'll agree, Phil, that was amazing. I really enjoyed that.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it was really insightful. I feel like I learned a lot. I hope you guys did too. So you can catch us on our socials. It's at the Jam Spot Pod. That's Instagram, TikTok, everything else. I can't remember all the other socials, to be honest, but they're all the same ones. Feel free to click the like, subscribe, I don't know, whatever else you have to do. And we will be with another episode soon. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.